Germany is doing it better than America. Let me explain. So last week, if you saw my last video, I went to Germany for a vacation for the first time. And while I was there, I noticed a lot of things that they just do better than America. So for example, doors and windows. You might not think that would be an important difference, but I'll show a picture on screen of the difference. The doors and windows there are so much better than American ones. I've lived in America my whole life, so I would know how the American ones are. Let me try to beat this guy as well. But the German windows and doors have these handles that you've switched up and down, like a rotation, instead of just like pulling like in and out. And this makes the seal just so much better. It feels more firm when you close and open the door and window. And something else that every single window I saw in Germany, as well as other countries in Europe, was the ability to pull down a curtain that makes the whole entire window dark. So it filters out all the light if you want to sleep. You just close that down. I've never seen a window in America with that. And nice, we just won. And so it made me realize, like, wait, this is like an eye-opener. Other cultures have differences. It's one of the cool things about traveling. You learn about different ways of doing things that you might not realize from living your own way are even possible. So this made me like note down some other things, and I have just a notepad of things I noticed. So the next one, probably the most important one, guys, was highways and how people drive there. Compared to America, I would say the German method of driving on highways is so much better. And that's because they just drive smarter there, I would say. From living in America my whole life, I can tell you a good idea of how people drive here, and it is not optimal. There's 2 lanes on a normal like freeway a lot of the times, and people will just often drive in the left lane, like below the speed limit when they're not trying to pass, which is not really how you should do it, not the fastest way. If you're not trying to pass someone, you should probably just stay in the right lane, because that's where the slow people go. And this guy's currently killing me with his bow somehow. Let's just start anchoring him. Okay, there we go, and we're in the whole fight now. Bro gonna kill me? Oh, he's using cobwebs and crystal. What is going on right now? This is crystal PvP, my guy. And there we go. But anyways, the best way to drive on a 2-lane freeway in America is just stay in the right lane, unless you're passing, then you can go in the left lane, speed up, and as soon as you're done passing people, just switch back to the right lane. But the way it actually works in reality is people just don't even think about this, which is like one of my biggest pet peeves. It just creates so much traffic, and then they'll just stay in the left lane of the freeway when it's only 2 lanes and create traffic behind them. And the worst part is they don't even notice there's like a line of cars behind them building up when they do this. It's like they're just blind. But anyways, in Germany, for the past week I was there, I did not notice this problem at all. When people were trying to pass on a 2-lane highway, they would get in the left lane, speed up, and immediately when they're done passing, always switch back to the right lane, like without fail. I don't know if that's just like a law there. It should be in America, but or it's just like a different culture and people are just more mindful. But that was the biggest culture shock to me, which was actually a really useful difference because there was no traffic. All the highways, it was way faster to get there because there was no traffic. And this is probably the main reason for no traffic. Okay, let me actually lock in here. Those might kill me. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're dead. But speaking of differences in transportation, besides the highways, they have trains, like trams you can hop on in every little city, even tiny cities that you wouldn't expect it, which is not something you've really seen in America a lot. Even in a lot of giant cities, some of the biggest cities in America, you don't see just trains through the cities, like on the little rails. I'll put a picture so you know what I'm talking about. I think it's just called a train or monorail. I don't know. But compared to America, they have way more in every little city, which was surprising because it's like, why not just use a bike or car? But I guess their culture there is to use more trains, which is nice. And oh my gosh, I'm getting destroyed. Guy's a high tier 4. Okay, my goal in this, guys, is tier 3, so this is pretty close to my skill level right now, I'd say. But yeah, it's kind of hard for me to focus on my story time and what I'm talking about when I'm trying to lock in harder, so it's a balance, guys. Like every city I went to, and I was traveling the whole entire last week all around Germany, they had little trains that you could just hop on for a few euros. Theoretically, if you didn't want to rent a car for vacation, you didn't have to, because you could take the trains everywhere between every city if you wanted to. Something else I noticed about city life is just the amount of restaurants and small like businesses everywhere. Compared to America, you have a bunch of fast food restaurants, as you might know, everywhere. It's a common thing. But in Germany, the only fast food restaurant I saw that was like really recognizable was McDonald's, because, you know, it's McDonald's, of course it is. But I didn't see any other ones, maybe a few KFCs or Popeyes, stuff like that. But that was about it. And the other thing about that, going back to highways, is there was no advertising or big billboards on any of the highways. I'm pretty sure that one is probably a law because it was kind of crazy how there was nothing on the highways. It was nice because you could see scenic views without any obstructions. Not a lot of fast food, a lot of just small restaurants everywhere, which is cool because it opens up jobs for people locally and forces people to walk around instead of just drive. So I thought that was a cool difference as well. And then more into city life. So I explored a lot of cities around Germany, like in France, Czech, and compared to like some of the cities in America, like New York, there was a lot more people just walking around doing stuff and like exploring and eating, because I guess in our American cities it's just like, well, at least in New York City it's more business oriented. Everyone around there is just walking around in a business suit and like going to work. Oh my gosh. But in most of the German cities and European cities I went to last week, it was just like everyone was just walking around to have a good time and enjoy themselves, I guess, which is how you would expect city life to be. I don't know, maybe New York's just different, but it was a pretty nice scenic atmosphere. People just walking around enjoying life. And this guy is lagging. I think we're gonna beat him already. What the heck? Bro's lagging. I'm gonna pop here. Never mind. Half a heart moment. And we have just been playing Crystal this whole video. Maybe I'll switch it up, do some other game modes, but Crystal's the one I want to improve in the most right now, so that is why it's only been Crystal so far. As you can see, I still kind of have the skills. Bro says in the chat, what is my internet? Fair enough. Bro is teleporting. He's Enderman PvP right now. What the heck was that? Oh, okay. He just popped for pearl damage. Finally. There we go. Alright, let's switch it up, do some sword duels. Maybe I'll do some of the other game modes, but yeah, we'll see. And one of the last things that I noticed was just the attitude and culture around drinking alcohol, which in America, the drinking age is 21, so it's a little more uptight. But in Europe, the drinking age for most places, I think, is 16 or 18. I don't know, it's just eye-opening to see, like, oh, people don't feel like, oh, you're doing a bad thing for drinking. It's kind of just a more normal part of their culture. And I kind of liked it because it just taught the younger people to just become more comfortable with alcohol and learn how to do it safely. Where in America, a lot of the time, people get to college or right when they turn 18, 21, and they really don't know anything about it, so they just go crazy, leading to ironically a lot more dangerous situations because they haven't been experienced with it. So I guess it was just eye-opening to see, like, wow, people have a different attitude towards something that in America is kind of frowned upon, at least for people who are just starting to drink. All this stuff is making me realize that travel and learning about other cultures is pretty important for just your awareness of the world. Just understanding that you can do things different ways. There's not one best way to do everything, which is often the feeling Americans have. But speaking of my travels to Germany, I would say my favorite places. So if you didn't hear my last video, I traveled all around visiting the neighboring countries because Germany is surrounded by a bunch of European countries. And Germany is not that big compared to like American states. It's honestly the size of your average American state. So it takes a few hours to just drive around the whole country, which is another difference, I guess. Exploring other cultures was a lot easier because in America, you're gonna have to fly to other countries or just drive 6 hours sometimes. But in Germany, you can just drive like an hour and be in another country. Now, obviously, there's some American states that, yes, they're very small, you can do this as well. But the thing about Germany is that even within the country, if you just drive an hour south of like one city, you're gonna find people speaking a completely different language. It's like if you were in California and then you went to Hawaii, because they're all, a lot of people there speak a different language, Hawaiian, except that's a 7-hour flight from California. If you're in Germany, it does not take that far. It's just like a lot of cultures are intermixed really close to each other, which is my whole point. But anyways, going back to the original point from like 2 minutes ago. Sorry, I kind of yap sometimes. Oh my gosh. Also, let me lock in this game. I almost died. Yeah, my original point, one of my favorite cities in Germany and the European area. But it was right on the border of Switzerland, France, and Germany. That was a really cool area because there was a lot of cultures intermixed. We get the benefit of Switzerland, which is like probably the most beautiful country. That was already my preconceived belief, but I would say it's true. Switzerland, guys, the grass there is like more saturated or something. It's really pretty. And you have the Switzerland Alps, which are crazy mountains. Also, the people there were pretty nice. Oh, we almost killed this guy. Dang, that's close. And then Germany, those people are really nice too. I noticed the Germans have a really keen sense of just working hard. I mean, everyone does, but specifically the Germans. I don't know. They just were doing things good. Let me get my potions on and also get out of here before I die. Oh, we got a pearl again. And then the French people were just like, they have a different outlook on working, I would say, in general. Not to stereotype, but just from generally noticing how people worked, like the French were more laid back, which was kind of cool. They were chill. So it was cool in that one area, just seeing all these different outlooks of life and different cultures combined right on the border of these 3 countries. Besides that city, there was another one in Czech Republic called Prague, which is actually a pretty big city. And some of my friends on Discord even messaged me like they live around the area. They were giving me tips on stuff to do, where to eat, stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. I don't know if I'm gonna win this game, guys. I actually have to kind of lock in. Bro's kind of cooking me, and he's a tier 5, which is way below my goal. I'm trying to get tier 3 in this, so I gotta improve in this a lot. I'm getting YouTubers to train me in various modes though, including this one, so stay tuned for those videos. Subscribe if you want to get notified. Okay, we are currently getting cooked though. I'm also trying to focus on my story time, so that makes it even harder. If you guys have never tried to play while commentating, try it. You will see what I mean. But yeah, anyways, Prague was nice. There's a lot of cool buildings there and like ancient architecture from like the past 1,000 years of people just building. So it's really pretty. You don't see that in America. Another cultural difference. Lots of just cathedrals and just beautiful works of arts in buildings, because in America, by the time America was founded like 300 years ago, the church and religion wasn't like as powerful as it was back in the day in Europe, which is how it was there. Not something you really see in America. On the flip side though, I didn't see any skyscrapers. Oh my gosh. So in America, you'll see skyscrapers in like pretty much every big city, everywhere. That's kind of a staple. In Germany and a lot of these European countries, I don't remember seeing any, which is a difference. It's kind of nice not to see them. It just looked more like medieval, what's it called? Like more historical, less modern, which is a cool change of scenery from just skyscrapers all the time. Basically what I'm trying to say with all these stories is just Europe, if you've never been to Europe and you don't live there, it's worth going. And if you've always lived in Europe and you've never been to America, it's worth going there too, just to see all the differences. But yeah, that concludes my story time on the cultural differences between America and Europe. I feel like I'm writing an essay right now. Hope you guys enjoyed, and subscribe for more yapping.